Welcome to this comparative video series of Omnipeek and Wireshark. Today we'll cover nodes and protocols. Nodes and protocols are the building blocks of our network. By understanding what protocols are in use and who is using that specific protocol, we can answer specific questions related to compliance, troubleshooting, security audits, and even validating specific traffic. Now let's go through two simple scenarios. Let's look at which endpoint is sending the most amount of traffic. Now notice that if we want to look at it from a MAC address perspective, we'll click on this tab, or from an IP address perspective, we'll click here. So we want to know which is transmitting the most amount of packets. We'll sort by it, and now if we're curious what protocols it's doing, we have to apply it as a filter. Close this window, go back to statistics, figure out which is the actual protocol being used. Now, if I wanted to know which particular person is using this VSS monitoring Ethernet trail, I would have to apply that as a filter now, and then come down to go ahead and get my results. Now let's run through that same exact scenario that we did in Wireshark. We'll simply go to our nodes view. Now when you're in your nodes view, if I wanted to see things from a physical perspective, I could see the MAC addresses here. I can even see it as a hierarchical perspective. This is very helpful when you want to tie a specific IP address to a MAC address without having to do a lot of filtering to go ahead and see data. The other thing that you'll notice is as I'm going through these views, the data is very visual. Also, you'll notice that I get country settings here, and by right-clicking on the columns, I can enable additional columns to get more additional data as well. Now, one of the things we were looking for was what was the total amount of bytes sent. So I'll simply click on bytes sent. I have that sorted, and now instead of applying a filter, I can simply just double-click on the top address, and I get the two addresses that are actually sending and receiving that traffic, and I get a list of the protocols. Now, one thing that you may have noticed, I was talking about that VSS protocol we saw in Wireshark, and that may have gotten picked up because of the port number, because it's RTP, was misclassified. One of the other things we can see here is within RTP, if I wasn't sure what it was, I can simply right-click and get a description of the protocol, and I get a very clear understanding of the breakdown of what that protocol is as well. What we just did with nodes, we can actually do within protocols as well. So we go into protocols, we can actually view this as a node, as a hierarchy or a flat view. We'll simply go into our flat view. And if we wanted to see who's doing HTTP in this case, we'd simply double click and we get a list of the stations that are doing HTTP. In fact, you can actually see the website that somebody went to. And if I want to classify it even further as who went to that specific website, simple double click now and we can see this specific user is the user who actually went to Urban Legends. So a quick summary wrap is within Omnipeek, it makes it very easy for us to toggle different view types. So this is where we jumped between our hierarchical views and our flat views in order to identify data easily. We also gave us the ability to double click and drill down with Omnipeek, making it easier so we didn't have to use multiple filters to get to a very specific answer. The visualization makes it very easy for us to take that data and use it for screenshots. Within Wireshark, you'll notice that any time that you want those statistics, there's not a view created, so you had to process that data. So with larger files, you might notice that this will take quite a bit of time. Also, you'll have to level multiple filters if you're trying to drill down to get to the data. We hope you enjoyed this comparative series of Omnipeek and Wireshark. Thank you.